These are our play decks here, these 9 decks here. And this monitor here is called our TX monitor, and this is everything that's going out on the air to the public as we speak. As you can see, there's a LAPD there flying, coming down on a feed.
Wanted.
And this is going to be another one coming down here.
I'm a detective for the Los Angeles Police Department.
And in a second, I'm going to give you an example of how I run it here.
Identify a suspect placed at the scene of a homicide. January 16, 1997, in the vicinity of Van Owen Street and Varna Avenue. The victim, Connie Madrid, was a female Hispanic, 50 years, mother of 5 children, found strangled.
The way it works is these are our play decks here. In a minute here, I'm going to run some commercials and run an ID. We have to run an ID on the top of every hour. And each one of these commercials are 30 seconds. And also at the same time, I have to catch a feed, LAPD, that comes down at 5 o'clock. And I'm going to catch it on these 2 decks here. So at about 58:30, everything's on military time here. And at about 58:30, I'm going to start the record decks for LAPD. And first thing I want to do is, you got color bars here. You want to check your audio levels, make sure they're set right. And then,
all right.
This is Pandavision. We play this during my hour, which is from midnight till 8 in the morning. And I'm going to run a commercial in a second here.
Here's what we're going to do. $119.
This is called a CG router. This here switches your commercials, your different decks, deck 1 through 9, and you use this router according to the number of the deck that you're using. So I'm going to start the commercial in a minute here.
There's $100 carrot material. But there's nothing in there even close to the price I'm selling it for. Great deal, probably the best deal of the night. One, 2 or 3 best deals of the night. 119 takes the whole line.
And I'm switching it from satellite, because we're running satellite now. I'm switching it from satellite to regular PG, which is the decks here. And also I need to start my feeds, so I'm going to go ahead and roll those. And I'm going to run this commercial, and then I'm going to roll my ID and put it back to satellite and back on Pandavision until 6 in the morning. And at that time is when I run some shows, regular shows and regular commercials. So as you can see, the tape's beginning to roll now for LAPD. This is basically what I do. There's quite a bit of responsibility here. As you can see, I'm in charge of the television for thousands and thousands of people who watch it. So I'm kind of like putting on a show for everybody. So if I screw up, then it goes on the air, and that's not good. So I want to try to put the best show on as I could. So I'm running down my last 30 seconds here. I'm going to run an ID, which identifies our station. And I'm going to switch it right back to satellite. So that's basically what you do. When I got regular commercials going throughout the day, when I'm running a show,
What you are about to see is real. There are no reenactments.
then what I'll do is queue up to my show, and as soon as I get black at the beginning of the show, I'll reset the counter and go -1. So by the time you start your program and hit your CG router, it's just coming on. Everything looks pretty good on the air. And these are our satellite receivers right here, our C-band and KU band. And this is where we program all the different decks through these satellites here. And everything's set on frequencies. So we set the frequency, and then we rotate the dish outside, and then what we do, if we're using this receiver here, for example, which is C1, then we will come down here on the patchwork, and we'll patch it through with these cables here, and then it goes into the CG router up here and into the certain deck, where, you know, whichever record deck we use. There's 4 different record decks here. There's an additional one down here, and there's 2 more back here that we use. And this is also our dubbing room here, where if we get a bad copy, we can record and make another backup copy. And these monitors, these 4 monitors here, correspond with these 4 decks right here, whatever's recording. And this right here is our vector scope. This is tells you the white levels and the different stuff that's actually on the air, different color levels that we're putting out. And this tells you how focused the antenna is. This here is our remote microprocessor. Every day when we come in, we hit certain codes on here, which corresponds to the different audio levels and the different power levels that are that we're putting out. And that's how we keep track of that. If it needs to be raised or lowered, we can do it right here. This is our EAS deck here, and what this is here is this is FCC. So when we come in, we log on, and we're actually monitoring 3 different stations besides ourselves, and we make sure they stay on the air as well. And if there was an actual emergency or something, then we would get a printout here, and there's a red envelope that we tear open, and we would go by the procedures on that and notify the public on air of what to do in case of emergency. This is our commercial library here. All these commercials are labeled by number, and what I do is I follow a log here, and I load the commercials onto this cart right here, and the programs that need to be played during my shift. And if you notice, each one of these commercials, there's some laid down, some stand up, some laid down. This tells me the different segments that I need to load these commercials in. So it just helps keep track of what times these commercials go in with these shows here. I'm going to take you out and back and show you the dishes. I don't know how well they're going to come in at night, but I'll also show you in the day. Yeah, you probably can't see them too well, but there's 6 dishes here, and these dishes here are the dishes that run with the receivers inside. And if you notice, way up on the hill up there, I don't know if I'm going to be able to focus into it, but there's some lights flashing there. That's called Quartz Mountain, and that's actually where our transmitter is located. This is our studio here. This is where we do the the news live, or we record it. You can see the 3 big cameras in here, and you can see the backdrop there. It makes it look like a little city. Over here, you can see this is where the newscaster, the weather guy, would stand. And with computers, we can put a backdrop on there that makes it look like a weather map. So that's the guy that you see, like pointing to the map and so forth. In front of these cameras here is what's called teleprompters. And from behind the desk here, this is what you would see if you were putting on the news, and you would read off of these. There's a TV monitor here, and a guy rolls a teleprompt machine that's kind of located back over there, but it puts words onto the front of this camera, and it's kind of like a two-way mirror. Behind that is actually a lens looking at you to film you, but also you can read what you need to say. And there's one on each camera here, and then when they go to commercials, they can look at this monitor here and can tell when to go back on. This is another archive library. This is kind of like where we store old tapes and stuff. We got all the Lucille balls, Gunsmoke, Family Ties, you name it. We store it in here. And this is the equipment that runs the news. These are the cameras we were just looking at in there. And these cameras here, these monitors, are for those cameras out there. You can see it looks like a city because they're looking at that backdrop. And this is the equipment that runs it. And these 4 decks here are the control decks. This is for us when we're going live on the news. This is what they run the commercials on. These decks here. This is one of our editing rooms, and this is where they actually make commercials. They'll go out and film scenes and interviews for certain companies, and then they put the commercials together on these monitors here, and with this computer, and they run a program on here called Toaster. And this is how they're made. This is a mixer. They put the music on, or any type of sound effects they want to put into the commercial. You'll notice it got a lot quieter in here. This is a soundproof room. This is where they do the voiceovers. The guy talks in a microphone like this here, and they run another Toaster type of a program in here. And this is the guy that you would hear on the commercials that tells you about the commercial and the pricing and all that, and they put his voice in it. This is a voiceover room here. These are the bigger cameras that we use to do the filming, the actual filming out when we do the commercials. And live location remotes. This is the engineering room. This is the guy that fixes everything. As you can see, there's some broken decks, and he'll repair them in here. He's got all the scopes and manuals and whatever he needs to fix it with. One of our editorial offices, and this is Associated Press machine here. This collects information via modem. Any major news or anything that comes to any other affiliate station or any other type of TV station comes over this Associated Press machine here, and we'll print it out, and we use that as part of our information to put on the news. And of course we monitor scanners and stuff too to put together for the news. This here, this is our Cairo here, and this is a computer over here that lets you this computer here lets you put scroll messages across the TV screen, and you type out whatever information you want on there, and it'll run it on the bottom of the screen or the top or whatever, like if you're doing a live remote. So I'm going to take you outside right now and show you the satellites so you can see them a little better. This is our TSL antenna. If we do live remotes off the mountain, off the translator off the mountain, sends a signal back into this thing. Here's the dishes here. Just get a little better look at them. It's daylight now. They're pretty big, and you can probably see our mountain a little better. Boy, it's really foggy this morning. You can see them right up there.
How do you deal with it?
Knock, knock. What are you doing? Yeah, did they ever go to digital? I know the analog they were stuck with for a while. And
The chaos has been digital for a long time.
oh yeah, have they? I'll be darned. Yeah, I'll maybe see you guys around. Take care. Thank you.